Good.
Mm-hmm.
So Metallica Enter Sandman, first solo. Now we're playing off the E minor pentatonic scale, and he's using a wah pedal, so he'll be doing like wah 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 now while doing this unison bend. And once again, a unison bend is when you're pedaling off of one or holding that one note consistent as a landmark for your ear, basically. And then you're going to bend another string or note up to that note. And that's the sound we're getting along with the wah. It gives it a very vocal, human-like effect. And there we're staying inside the pattern, and that is taking that D note and bending it up to the E. So there's a lot happening with the E here. Next part, it takes advantage of the hammer-on and the pull-off, okay? We're on our 3rd string on the 12th fret. That hammer-on followed up by a couple picking. And then a pull-off. So you got the hammer-on, and then 2 picks, and then you're gonna pick it, pull it off, and land on the pick 14th fret D string above that. And he does it a few times in succession. And then after that couple times, he goes into the last part of the riff, which is a succession of pull-offs. Resolving on the E. Now notice here, I'm starting on the G string, anchoring, and then from that point, I don't have to move that ring finger. I simply move my first finger up to put it on the D string, and I'll do the same move again. And follow, then the same thing again, bring my first finger up to the next string, pull off. Now instead of here, doing what we did exactly like the other strings, we go up 1 on this to the 15th. The other ones are pulling off, to 12, landing on the 14. 14 pull off to the 12, land on the 14. 14 pull off onto the 12, land on the 15. And then big giant low E chord puts us right back in place. To speed with the wah, I don't have a wah hooked up, but it sounds exactly like it if you got the. Goes into a different part, which we'll cover in a different video down the road when my buddy Vincent here is ready for that. Now, once again, just to outline the scale for you, E minor pentatonic. Root note E, root note E, root note E. So they're playing with that the whole time, right? Because they're doing like, first of all, the notes in the chord E minor, E, B, E and B together make an E power chord. So Metallica using a lot of power chords, meaning that they're using 2 notes of a 3-note chord. They're not adding in the 1 note that would make it a major or minor chord. They're keeping it in vague by keeping it a power chord. And power chords are simply notated by a 5 after the letter. So like an E power chord, you'd see written as in the letter E and then the number 5 after it. And the reason is that it's containing the E, which is the root note of the E scale, and then the 5th note in its scale, hence the 5, okay? And the 5th note in the E scale is B. So every time you're playing an E and a B together, you're playing a small E power chord. So right here, there's the lowest one we have, E and a B, and that's all over this song, right? E, E to the B, and then the E and B, E to the B. That's all playing games on the, we're not playing games, but that's playing within the power chord realm. Purposefully, most likely, keeping the chord not in a family of major or minor. This way it gives the soloist, the melodist, more room and more freedom to move, as they have less boundaries to have to follow, okay? He's engulfing this. And for good practice, just for good guitar lesson, to make this good Metallica Kirk Hammett solo riff a great guitar lesson, you can take the idea, let's say, of playing it down here at this 12th position, the E, let's say, blues scale is almost like the E minor pentatonic scale. The E minor pentatonic, right? The blues is one extra note, which you see here a bit. That little, you can see some of that coming in, and even like bending this note. Yes, it is bending a whole step up, but it is within it. You're hearing this, that bending it up and through that blue note. They call those two notes the blue notes. This here it sounds dissonant by itself, but with the other ones it sounds good, right? But by itself it is dissonant. But that's the blues, and then blues comes into rock and metal. It's adding that dissonant all the time. Helps create the feeling and the moods that we're looking for. So now if you take the scale and you can move his lick down here, the same thing as that's great guitar practice, Same thing. All right, Wayne Sorbelli here, down in Key West, Florida. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, turn on the notification bell, drop a comment below.